Hey everyone, just happy to announce that Haven Cottage Event Center is opening in late spring of this year in McKinney. Haven Cottage is an event center for small to medium-sized occasions in a country setting minutes away from the city. Use the facility for a conference, art exhibition, and multi-purpose meetings, or just celebrate your family's joyous events exactly how you want to. Everything you need to know to get in touch with them is all in the description, okay? Email, phone, alright? Check them out, see what's up, maybe reserve something, who knows, whatever it is, check it out. Alright, enjoy the episode.
Podcast, one more podcast. One more podcast.
Anyways, welcome back to the Warm Podcast, guys. As you can see, we are in a different house because this is not where I live. Yeah, we're here. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, if people don't already know who you are, go ahead. On my left, the wonderful Shelly and
Itai.
The magnificent Itai. And I guess everybody knows me. I'm Yuval. I don't know how many times I introduced myself actually. So,
gonna reacquaint ourselves with the hero.
Yeah, thanks. Do you know your neighbors? Like, this was a question, like, as I was walking through, I saw something that I will explain in a little bit, but I want to, how well do you know your neighbors? Well, I mean, Itai has been living here longer, right? So
No, we've been living here the same
about the same time? Okay.
What did you see?
Well, first, how do you, so your answer is, I don't know neighbors. What? Oh, no. Just anywhere. Side neighbors, front neighbors.
I mean, like, in the alley. So, like, my driveway's in the back. Okay. So I know the neighbors, like, across, because, like, sometimes we'll have our garages open to, like, when I'm leaving or coming back. And so they're outside working on their lawn or something like that. So we talk a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like, we say hi.
Yeah, we say hi, but we don't.
Have you ever invited your neighbors over?
No.
Really? What about
they're all
the house growing up?
No. Actually, yeah.
The McCarthy's.
O'Brien's,
yeah.
McCarthy's. Okay. Pillman.
When people have kids the same age, like, you know, you can ask somebody to take your kids from school, you know, because they're next door neighbors. So, like, you know,
so you think having kids makes more sense, but like, because like when we moved to Frisco, I didn't know any of the neighbors, and we lived there for like 7 years or something, 7, 8, or I lived there for like 7, 8 years. I don't know the neighbors at all. Same thing. Well, okay.
In Allen, you knew your neighbors. Huh?
Well, yeah, we did because
you were
right.
Child,
I mean, it was the kids and stuff like that. So
my boyfriend knows his neighbors really well. Yeah, they like go to concerts together. It's really weird.
Oh, okay, cool. I think it's really interesting just because in like the apartment that I live in, I don't know anyone around. I don't know any of the apartment people. I know across from me is an older couple, and they're really chill. And I only knew that because one night, whenever I was moving stuff into the apartment, they were moving stuff out of their apartment, and I was like, "Oh, well, you guys need help?" You know, trying to be polite. And they were like, no, we got it. It's totally fine. I was like, oh, okay, well, what are you guys doing? You know, blah, blah, blah. I'm moving in. Where are you guys going? And they're like, oh, we're going to Vegas to celebrate our honeymoon or something. I was like, wow, that's...
Older couples celebrating their honeymoon.
Like, I mean, they must have been, you know, I'm not trying to be rude, but they must have been in their late 60s, probably early 70s. So I was like,
whoa,
good for them. Like, yeah, right? So...
Party.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't know any of my neighbors. And I was like, okay. I was just curious to know if that's just a me being antisocial thing or just a...
No, this is making me really curious about what you saw, though. What did you see?
All right, so here we go. You ready for the drum roll here? So before I came... Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That was really good.
Thank you.
So I was in the car. I was finishing up a phone call before I walked in here for a tutoring session. And I saw this, and I'm going to say she's a young girl just because of what I saw. So she was walking her dog, but instead of just having a regular dog walking thing that, you know, you walk and your dog walks next to you, every so often she would pick up the dog and twirl the dog around her and then drop the dog and then walk a little more and then pick up the dog and then twirl the dog around again. And,
like in the air.
Yeah, and like she would live, like it was a small...
It must be a really small dog.
Yeah, it was like a small poodle or like something, like one of the tiny, tiny little dogs. And she was just whoop, and then spun it and then dropped it and then she walked up into a house, and I think she's either 1 or 2 houses down. So, yeah.
That poor dog.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear any yelping or anything, so I guess, I don't know, maybe
it got tangled? Maybe like the...
No, like, she did it like 4 or 5 times, like, just
for fun?
Yeah, it looked, because, like, I'm going to stand up, here we go. So she was walking, and she picked the dog, and then do this, and then walk again, and then keep doing that. Like, she did that like 4 or 5 times.
How old was this?
I want to say she's young. I couldn't really tell because, again, it was like 2 houses down, 2, 3 houses down.
Was it like a loose leash, or was it one of like the hard leashes that like are
It was
Which,
it was like
either way is terrible. But
well, sure, no, it was like it wasn't a retracting one. It was just like the regular,
just the string one, but it was
Yeah.
like loose. It wasn't like just like a stick.
it looked pretty loose, so she like had she could pull on it or whatever. But yeah, no, she would just pick it up and then spin it. So I was just curious because I was like,
That's interesting. No, haven't seen that.
because originally coming in, I was going to ask you about like your neighbors and stuff like that. But then I saw that and I was like, wow, okay, do you really know who your neighbors are? So
Oh my gosh.
but you
No.
It's how you pointed over there. Like, are those known to be bad neighbors or what?
No, I pointed up there because if you can look through the window, there's egg on the house.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I thought you were pointing in the direction. Okay, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
So your house got ruined, horrible. The
Yep.
value went down $2,000 probably.
No.
It's gonna be clean.
No.
But
So okay, well that was just one thing I wanted to talk about. Just because because I know people who like know their neighbors and they have great relationships with their neighbors and they invite them over for dinner and whatever and you say howdy neighbor, how you doing?
If they were some of the same age as us, like young adults, like
Oh,
I'd be
so
more
just-
inclined to probably like because the people I see, they're all family. You know,
yeah,
it's
this
all
is like suburbia.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So we're like
There's no
mid
young
40s
kid.
and higher with young kids.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's pretty much what's around us.
Okay. So, but I mean, so you'd say that's probably your only reason why you're not saying hi or hanging out or say, hey, come over to dinner or blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah, because they're like we're just at completely different points in life.
Okay.
So
No,
yeah,
that-
I mean, most of the people here have like families. You know, again, they're 40s, 50s,
Mhm.
some 60s,
Sure.
with young children.
Okay. No,
So, yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I just, I don't know. I just think it's strange kind of how different lifestyles people have with, knowing that. Because I know growing up in Frisco, we actually had, because, we had the first Saturdays and stuff like that. And we definitely have, because of my mom, we definitely have a lot of parties, events, whatever things, shenanigans, whatever's going on. And I just remember...
In Allen, you mean?
No, in Frisco. Well, I mean,
Frisco.
in Allen, but like more predominantly in Frisco, because I don't want to be rude, but I'm just going to say that they might have had sticks in their butts and they just were more strict about it. But I forget if I told you guys this, but was one night, I think it was New Year's. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was like the December time. So we were having probably some kind of little shindig or something, or I'm pretty sure it was New Year's. And so this guy across the street walked over, banged on our door, and he's like, look, I don't forget exactly what he says, but it pretty much was like, look, guys, I'm tired of you having a bunch of people. My daughter can't park in front of her house, and so she has to park around the block and walk to her house. So I'm sick and tired of this, blah, 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 blah. You need to stop doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then the next day, he actually put like parking cones in front of his house, like little orange cones in front of his house. And then I think like a year or two later, he moved. So, I mean, I have no idea. I'm sure we weren't the exact reason for that. But yeah, no, we definitely... In Frisco, we didn't have at least I'd perceived that we didn't really have very many friendly neighbors. So there was actually a girl at my school who, when I said what neighborhood I lived in, she was like, oh yeah, you're that really big house with the cars all, because she lived in a neighborhood, I guess. She was like, yeah, you have all the cars in front of your house all the time, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, sure, yeah, I guess that's us, that's me. So yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, on Saturdays, I know that it got busy.
yeah,
Sometimes.
very busy. We were fluctuating and stuff like that with the amount of traffic in front of our house. But anyways,
It's a pretty dead neighborhood, though. Like, besides that, I didn't see that many other cars outside.
well, I mean, we had the pool area, and then in the back was the park and stuff, where I think you'd have more lively. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think well, I guess one thing I never saw was kids playing in the street. That was one, like, growing up in Frisco. Well, I say growing up, but like whatever. So living in Frisco, we didn't see a lot of kids, because I remember specifically like elementary school, middle school, there were definitely kids playing in the street.
yeah,
like,
I think it was just a different time, also, because like when I was growing up, when I was a kid, I mean, all I could do was play outside, because that was before the age of
oh, you really think
Nintendo.
it
Yeah,
was back in my day was really a tradition? It's a true thing, not just kids don't like outside anymore. Or
kids don't like outside anymore. Yeah, like you guys are. Your generation was a lot more. As you got older, like it was less outside play, more inside play.
Do you think that's because kids choose inside versus outside, or parents don't want kids to go outside? Because I know, like, a big recurring theme that I know that I've talked on the episode before is just helicopter parents, and it's just always
I don't think it's
the where are you? I need you to be safe. Stay. Come home.
It could be a little of both. I mean, it wasn't for us, and even I remember playing outside with your friends sometimes. But so like our parents didn't mind, but I do know parents that do mind and don't want their kids to stay outside because it's not safe, and there's whatever, they don't want them to go too far, or they don't trust them, or they don't. So they're like, okay, whatever, just stay inside.
And I thought that's why you don't see kids playing outside, because that's more predominantly.
I think the kids are the ones that are choosing not to like go out and run.
I think
it's easier for them to just sit by the Xbox or
but their parents are letting them do that too.
Yeah, the parents aren't saying
parents
go
aren't
leave.
A lot of parents, at least I feel like if it were our parents, they'd be like, go play outside.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like the parents are like. It might be that the kids are like, well, I want to watch TV, but if the parents are like, well, you can watch 30 minutes of TV and then you can go play outside with your friends, or you can go play outside with your brother or whatever, then kids would be outside. But, I think it's a both. I think it's a mix of kids being attached to technology, which I know we've talked about before, and parents not pushing their kids to go out and do social outdoor things.
Well, I mean, like, because now I'm curious, because I remember in Frisco specifically, like the neighborhood pool, you'd see not a lot of people, like it wasn't like a hip hopping in place every day after school, but but you'd still see like a handful of kids every now and then there and stuff like that. So I get like that's a destination, whereas I don't think, and I agree. I guess at this point I agree with you, Ty, saying that kids just don't have the I don't want to say kids don't have imaginations, that they're not like, they can't just play with a stick in the middle of the street and just do whatever. But I mean,
I used to play a game. There was a game that I used to love that I made up, and I called it Jets, and I don't know
what is Jets.
Does it ring a bell at all to you, Sean? So it was basically like I used to go out in the back. This was when I was real young.
Sure.
I mean, I must have been probably like 8, 9, and Shelly was
it's
like
okay. You're 16. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
But so what was this game?
No, so. I used to go outside in my parents' backyard, and we used to like basically sit in like a fighter jet or something, like make believe, obviously fighter jet.
Sure.
And you used to go shooting things, and like the more things that got shot, you could buy upgrades for your jet.
That's really awesome.
And so you could buy upgrades for your jet. So like then I got bigger guns or something like that, and then I ended up. You don't remember playing?
You probably made me lose every time.
No, I didn't. We didn't play against each other. I don't think we played against each other. I don't remember.
You didn't get enough points.
I don't think we played against each other. I think it was a team where we were trying to like. Whatever. Anyway.
I specifically remember we played baseball or softball or something.
Really?
Well, I didn't even know what softball was, so it's gotta be baseball.
It was like the.
I know what softball is.
And I remember I hit it, and I didn't know what to do. So I held on to the bat and I ran the other way. And I like specifically remember because like I kind of looked at you and I was like, what do I do? And you were like, run. I was like, okay. And so I like held on to this thing and just like ran. And you were like, drop the bat. I was like, okay. You're like, other way. I was like, okay. That's like a very vivid memory.
Where was this?
This was like in the street, in the front yard.
In the front yard?
That's awesome. That's amazing.
in the actual street. Like we played in the street, but
was it just like baseball that you guys played, or did you play? Because I know
we played like kickball and we played
laser tag.
We played laser tag.
Laser tag.
We had the little.
You had the
vest,
toys.
Thing with the. Oh, that was cool.
That's not fair.
The water thing was base. That big like water, or was it the gas thing, or that big green thing?
That sounds so
I don't
much
even know
fun.
what that is, but
that sounds
yeah.
It was always like I saw it at Walmart. I was like, oh, I want this so much, but it was like not in my. Definitely not getting that as a toy. So
yeah, we played laser tag.
I have laser tag here now. Also,
do you really?
That nobody plays with. Yeah.
What? Okay, well then I would love to play like in the dark with laser tag. Oh, that'd be so fun. Yeah,
it's fun.
So we can do that. Huge community laser tag event.
I mean, we only have like 4.
Oh, okay. Well then,
things,
4 works.
Like a 4 community laser tag thing.
But no, I think for me, seeing the kids, I believe it was like football, like touch football and kickball a little bit.
We did we did street hockey a lot. That was probably the thing I did the most, street hockey. Roller hockey.
Right. Oh, like with actual like rollerblades?
Rollerblades.
Oh, okay. I think the only hockey that we ever did was on our feet, and then we just had like sticks and stuff. So, but I think it was football and kickball was more predominant there.
You guys ever played broom ball?
What is broom ball?
It's like,
like
hockey.
broom
Yeah,
ball.
it's
Okay.
like hockey.
Sure.
So you're on ice, but you're in your regular tennis shoes, and you play with a broom and a hockey puck, and it's hysterical.
That sounds pretty hysterical.
It was our Christmas party for Whirling Ball like 3 years in a row.
Oh, really?
We went and played broom ball.
That sounds really fun.
Sounds dangerous.
Super dangerous.
People
I mean-
fall a
yeah,
lot. Okay.
all the time.
Well, I mean, isn't any sport
Really
dangerous?
fun.
Well, if you're running on ice, I feel like
It's like
there's
you're
a,
like
there's a
running,
level of
but
danger.
you're like
that,
Right, you're-
cautiously running.
Right.
Oh shit! you're like kind of doing those like
Right.
really small steps,
Yeah.
but like kind of running.
Are you
and
like
scooting
sliding
your
on
feet.
purpose? You're like
Yeah.
slipping on purpose. You're
Yeah, you're like
sliding
scooting your feet a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It gets
That
pretty
sounds really
intense.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, because I was definitely the youngest out of anyone, and so I think I'd have to like watch sometimes, but then they would let me play. But like these are just like, I don't even remember any of these kids' names or faces or anything. I just remember they were the neighborhood kids, so
Yeah.
bunch of
I
hooligans.
know. I mean, I remember Annie.
Well, okay, so aside from the people on the street, but like I remember there was a group of kids, younger guys,
I guess
and
she,
they just
she wouldn't have played.
Yeah.
hockey
no,
or
yeah,
something,
she was definitely not someone who partook in the sports and stuff like that.
I think I was the only like younger sister that played.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You didn't always.
Oh,
play.
Brian had a daughter that was close to my age, and I
Yeah.
think sometimes
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, okay.
they played too. But I think I was the only like.
I think it was mostly guys that like we
Yeah.
usually just did.
So
The guys.
Mom probably forced you to put me outside and play. Take her too. Busy.
So, moral of the story: life was better back then, or like because
Hindsight's always 20. I mean, not hindsight's always 2020. Things
nostalgia
always
is
look.
2020.
Well, no, not even 2020. Things always look. You always remember the best things about like the past.
True.
Like that's something that
Very true.
even with like relationships and stuff like that, you always remember the best things from.
What is it? It's like you have beer goggles or something, or what is it? Isn't that a phrase
Rose
like
color, rose.
rose-colored
rose-colored
glasses? I think
glasses.
beer goggles is something else.
Yeah, I was like, beer goggles is when you think that you see somebody attractive, but you're drunk.
You're
so
drunk, so you see.
So you-
Gotcha. Well, you can have beer goggles about the past. You can, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways,
Anyway,
kind of actually relates, except not drunk. It's just like you
yeah.
think something looks good, but when you take off the glasses, it really doesn't look good.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Hey,
okay. Thank you.
got
Thank
it.
you. Boom.
Rose,
Shelly's on the side.
rose-colored.
Rose-colored
glasses.
is-
That's better.
So do you
More
guys
appropriate.
experience a lot of nostalgia, like in either? Because for me specifically, when I'm perusing online and I see stuff like
From our childhood.
from
like,
childhood, yeah. So
Yep.
okay, kind of a little embarrassing, but I really don't care. But there was
everybody listening.
yeah, let's pay attention. So I just because on Hulu they had what is it? It's the Looney Tunes, but then they had
Animaniacs?
the well, not anime. I love Animaniacs.
Oh,
That
I
that
love
brings a lot of nostalgia.
Animaniacs.
They're coming back, by the way.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so excited.
2019
Um,
or 2020 or something. Anyway,
But
The Looney. I know what you're talking about. The
Tiny-
kids.
Tiny
that they went
Toons.
to-
Tiny- is it Tiny
Toons.
Tiny Toon Adventures. I know the entire theme song, by the way.
okay, yeah. So Tiny Toon Adventures, but then that got me thinking because I watched Tiny Toon Adventures, I watched Animaniacs, I obviously watched Looney Tunes, and so I don't know if you guys ever watched this, but growing up like as a young like a kind of in the weird phases of like you're out of elementary school but you're in middle school kind of,
So good.
but it was like
I don't know.
Baby Tunes or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay,
Nope.
good. Glad you're not. So it was just essentially it was kind of like Rugrats, but like the Looney Tunes were the kids and they had adventures and stuff like that. So, anyways,
I
It's
thought
not
that was
Tiny
Tiny
Toons?
Toon Adventures.
no, not Tiny Toons. It was a specific where it was a Tiny Toon. It wasn't produced by Steven Spielberg. It was like a offshoot. I think this was like back. It aired like 2001 or something like that, and I don't know. Anyways, so definitely if you were in middle school, it was very weird for you to watch this because it seems like it was projected towards little kids.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I was in high school at the time. So.
well, sure, yeah, okay, sure, whatever.
did not.
Because obviously you're older than me. But going through the comment section on YouTube, there was a lot of kids that were, or I say kids, but there were a lot of comments about like I remember watching this like in middle school and specifically one comment got me like super hard and then like probably
All the feels.
like not all the feels and the nostalgia and just like I was like, oh wow, I think it was like I remember watching this in the morning while eating Cookie Crisp, something like right before school, and I was like, oh, that was like literally I did that, and that was super nostalgia. So have you guys experienced anything like that before, or is it just like I remember the good old days, or because I've had very like strong waves of nostalgia hit me, and I'm just like, dang, I miss that. That was a good thing.
I don't know. If
Wow,
it's, like,
really? Nothing? Wow, okay,
So
I'm like spewing out my emotional history here. And
No. I mean, listen. Like, I remember stuff I remember when I was in 4th grade or 3rd or 4th grade. I used to get up every morning and watch Alvin and the Chipmunks cartoon while getting ready for school.
Okay. So, but you don't like feel like nostalgia when you see any.
I mean, it's fun.
Chipmunk
Like,
stuff?
it's fun to watch that stuff. Like, I like watching it. There's definitely nostalgia, but it's not. I guess I'm never brought to like a point of serious emotion about it.
Because I don't know, it was so weird. It was just like I was okay 1 minute, and then the next minute I read that comment, I was just like, oh dang, okay.
I went to Alamo Draft House does a bunch of stuff.
Uh-huh.
They do like Saturday morning cartoons or whatever, what they used to, and it was like all you can eat cereal. So they put out like all the Cookie Crisp
That's
and
awesome.
like Fruit Loops or whatever cereals don't get made anymore, and then they played like Ghostbusters.
They don't make Cookie Crisp.
I don't know, maybe.
I
haven't seen. I'm boring, and I buy
I don't eat cereal
Cheerios, like the healthy whole wheat Cheerios, and then sometimes do like the strawberry stuff. So
no. Honey Nut Cheerios where it's at. I don't even eat cereal anymore though.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I've always been a Raisin Bran. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
I loved honeycomb. Not to like.
Honeycomb's good.
No, you're good.
So good.
I ate a lot of corn pops for a while.
Yeah,
I ate a lot of.
I could eat honeycomb straight out of the box. Like,
corn pops was just the little yellow balls.
Yellow balls.
Okay, yeah, I remember
but
eating
they were
that.
weirdly shaped.
No.
Yeah, they had a bunch of dents in them, and like they weren't like.
Maybe
okay,
I don't know.
They were like just tiny balls. Like,
You just put them in your
like,
mouth. And
they
eat
looked like
them.
corn nuts. Like they looked like.
Oh really? Was that the thing they were going for? I didn't. Okay, good. I don't know.
They weren't like perfectly shaped. They were like.
No, I understand.
They
That's
were,
fine.
They were pretty perfectly shaped.
No, they weren't.
I ate them for like.
They were not
like
perfectly shaped. We can Google this later.
Well, anyways,
Okay.
moral of the story: I only ate like Raisin Bran cereal or whatever, and that was it. I didn't have any fun. I think the only thing was Cookie Crisp was the fun sugary.
We ate a lot of Cocoa Pebbles.
I didn't
we
get
did.
any.
And it turned our
Cocoa
milk.
Pebbles.
It turned our milk
to
chocolate.
chocolate.
Yeah,
It was funny.
I know that was a thing, but
So Almond Draft House. So they did the cereal or whatever, and then they played cartoons. They played Ghostbusters, Captain Planet, Thundercats, and Gargoyles.
Ooh.
Like back to back. They played one episode of each. It was awesome. It was like 2 hours of all you can eat cereal. And
Yeah.
No SWAT cats.
No SWAT cats.
And no. What's the one? Lino. I'm lying. The one where it's like Thundercats.
is that
Didn't I say Thundercats?
Oh, did you say Thundercats? I didn't
over
hear.
my head? I don't know what Thundercats.
I said
I never watched it.
It was Ghostbusters,
Right, Ghostbusters. I would know that.
Captain Planet,
Captain
Planet. I've seen
Thundercats,
Captain-
and
Oh,
Gargoyles.
Thundercats. Okay.
Did I say
I
that?
think I remember Gargoyle. I don't.
Yeah.
Is
It was awesome.
okay.
It was cool. So yeah, that was like, whoa, like that was nostalgia. I mean, it wasn't like all the feels like you had, but
Sure.
like watching that was like, I was like, that's pretty cool. Like,
All right. So you don't
watching
like
those-
you don't watch like 90s kids remember this.
I watched the
compilation?
Yes, we do.
Animaniacs.
Yeah, we do.
on repeat,
Oh, really?
basically on Netflix. So much funnier as an adult, like
Yeah.
way funnier as an adult than
I
it
agree.
is as a kid.
I agree.
There's like a part. I saved it to my phone because I was like, I cannot believe that this happened. But like, Wacko, that's the older one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wacko.
So-
and then Yakko's the middle guy, and then
And
Dot's
Dot's
the
the so Wacko or the doctor was trying to teach them how to be polite,
Mhm.
and with the nurse that Wacko
Sure.
and Yakko thought was attractive.
Hello, nurse.
Yes. So they were like, so the doctor was like, so you say, hello, whatever. And they were like, hello, nurse. And he was like, say, how do you do? And so Wacko's like, how do you do? And then like whispers that thing with your mouth and like jumps into her arms. And like, as a kid, I'm sure that was like, didn't even recognize that. But I watched that as an adult and I was like, that did not just happen. Like,
Yeah.
what was hysterical? And it's, when I'm telling you, it's like every other line
Mhm.
in the show is like that. And it's things that as a kid you don't pick up on. And it's not like one or two funny things an episode. It is constant
Mhm.
adult humor.
But it's
in
also
that
like very
TV show.
educational. Like you
Yeah.
remember
That's
the countries and
Yeah.
when Yakko does all that.
But it's like constant adult humor. Constant.
The one specifically I remember, and just because I've seen it pictures online and stuff like that, that brings the memories back. Is I forget what they were doing, but they were looking for something, and they're like detectives or something, and so I think it was Wacko. He goes, "All right, we need to find fingerprints or something like that," and then Dot like pulls up prints, and you're just thinking fingerprints, and so that was a joke
Prince.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
Prince.
yeah,
The
yeah.
actual
The
guy.
singer,
So-
yeah, she's
and then
like,
she's
yeah.
like,
I remember that.
"Aw," or something.
I saw
like
them on
so-
Facebook like today or yesterday or something.
Yeah, so and that's the only one that I specifically remember. But yeah, I went back watching the Animaniacs, and good. It was
All
good.
right, I'm gonna start watching that again tonight. Well,
It's
that's
and
exciting.
honestly, it's like it's surprising, and I made the connect because a lot of the times I'll accept something as reality, and I don't think about it. But then like whenever I actually think about it, I make the connection. Is just because Steven Spielberg produced it. They produced the Animaniacs, produced the Tiny Toons, and it was just like that's why it was really good. And I was like, Steven Spielberg is a good guy.
So here's
And they had-
Knickers, it's all.
Yeah.
Nah.
It had like
Bup,
good
bup, bup, bup,
good
bup, bup.
feathers, the
What?
birds.
Oh yeah,
And it
the
had
good
like,
feathers.
and it
Yep.
had that kid
Yep.
that came out of the house and like told these jokes that didn't make any sense and was just like, okay, bye, and then like walked back into the house. Like,
Yep.
so
It was
you
very
don't
wild
remember?
and over here.
I don't know what Goodfeathers is.
Is it? It's
What was the joke on
one of
Goodfellas?
the like Pinky and the Brain is one of the shorts
Oh.
in the Animaniacs.
Oh, I guess I haven't
I like
seen
Pinky
And
the
so-
I like Pink. I thought it was kind of silly. but-
So Goodfeathers is one of them, and it's like these Italian birds
Brain.
that are like
Oh,
Goodfellas.
that's kind of ring a bell.
Yeah,
It's been like a decade
and
or
then
more
it's
since I've seen
the
it.
Lucy and her dog Button that she always gets into trouble because she like goes in somewhere and then it always gets the dog in trouble.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing, and I've tried to like YouTube compilations of that kid's jokes because they're terrible, but like because they're so awful, and then he's just like, okay, bye, and then like runs back into the house. They're so funny, but I don't know. Like Goodfeathers has a name, and Lucy
Right.
and Button has a name or whatever, but like they never named this
Awkward,
kid.
skinny
Yeah,
kid.
like awkward kid in Animaniacs, but they're so funny.
Yep. So I mean, I don't know. Have you guys watched
Childhood.
any of the current child cartoons and stuff like
No,
Adventure
like-
Time or
Paw Patrol.
Dora the
What is-
Explorer.
Well, Paw Patrol is a thing.
I've
But like
seen
that's
a
a
few
kid,
episodes.
That's a kid thing, not like a young
Oh.
high school. I'm talking like
A
the
young
stuff
high
on
schooler.
Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon now, like not.
No. Last I saw Cartoon Network, I remember seeing Dexter's Laboratory and
that was a good show.
the powder.
Powerpuff Girls.
Powder Puff Girls.
Powerpuff. What is Powderpuff?
Powderpuff is
Football game. Yeah, that's right.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's where
okay.
the girls
And then-
play and the
yeah,
guys
that's where we go.
cheerlead.
Ah, that's right. We
Powerpuff
had
game
that
in high school. We had that in high school.
Yeah, high school and middle school, and it was always really weird and awkward, and everyone cheered for the football players as the cheerleaders. So
You know what? I actually saw, I think they were OU fraternity, not to change topics.
no
but
change away.
I want to say it was an OU fraternity that did like a cheerleading routine,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awesome. Like,
Was it really?
they were so good.
We have what's called shoot, I forgot what it's called. Plano Senior High had what's called like
Yeah,
a
white
white
guard.
guard. Yeah,
But-
but it's like similar.
No, like I'm
No?
telling you, I'll try to YouTube it. They were so good, and like the crowd is just going nuts, and like they're doing flips
At
and
a football
kicks,
game?
and like no, it was like in an
Oh.
auditorium.
Oh,
Wait,
Doing,
and
like,
and
flips
this
and
is
kicks.
female cheerleaders or male?
No, they're male, and
Oh,
it was they did like dance routines, and they were like perfect. Like everybody's arms were like on beat.
Mhm.
It was awesome. I
Wow,
think it was
okay.
an OU fraternity, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
sweet.
huh? That's cool.
Wait, did you go to the OU game that one time?
No,
Because
I
I saw your dad.
Yeah, they went
time.
to go with. I think they went with Mike and Lynn to go.
That's right, yeah.
Support Aaron because
That's
he was
right.
in the marching band.
Right.
No, I've never
Yeah,
been.
You've
to
never been
any-
to Norman. Okay.
The only football, because I don't know about you guys and your collages experiences, but I think I went to one game, and that was because it was the freshman orientation thing, whatever. Hey,
UTD?
UNT,
UNT? Oh, that's
and
right.
they were like,
That's right. That's what I was thinking.
so they don't, but they have a mascot though. They have like a
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
a flaming
comet.
sperm.
No, it's a
Yeah,
comet.
it is. It's a flaming sperm
It's a flaming sperm. That's true. It is.
called T-Mock, which is comet spelled backwards.
That's clever.
Super clever.
That's clever. But anyways, I didn't go to a lot of football games or any sports, or I was never invested in the school pep and stuff. Once, because I know at least in high school we were forced to do pep rallies, and then I think at some point they gave us the decision to either do pep rallies or go outside in the courtyard and just sit and do nothing. So I think
So that's what you
majority
That's
said
what you
to sit.
did?
Yeah, I mean you can be on your phone and stuff like that, but that was about it.
Plano Senior High had a lot of pride. Like
Oh, yeah.
Plano Senior
Really?
High, yeah, had a lot of pride.
Everybody
Like,
was
we
super
had-
pumped.
We
about
had
this stuff.
cheerleaders, we had drill teams, we had white
Maroon
guard.
we had white
Yeah,
guard.
we had maroon guard, we had white guard, we had band, we had like just a ton of
Sure.
like
No, I
things.
mean, Centennial had that. I you didn't get, at least personally in the group that I hung around and stuff like that, there was no like overwhelming, yeah, go Centennial Titans, yeah, go whatever.
Were you guys good? Because we were real good.
Yeah,
my
Plain was
senior
good.
year.
Our team was all right. I mean, we weren't the best, but we definitely weren't horrible.
We started off 13-0 in football my senior year,
Yeah,
and like we went to the
I think we
playoffs
did
and we're
well,
like-
but I mean, we were a 4A school, so
we never played then.
right. So, but I think we had a solid team. There was definitely the football players were definitely treated at a little elevated status because of how good they played. But I know baseball was big. We had a decent baseball team, and then I think our soccer team was okay too. So
I think our baseball team and soccer team sucked.
Oh,
We had a
okay.
good wrestling team.
Who's we?
Plano.
When your year?
Yeah.
Your year? Oh.
Plano wrestling was good. Our
Really?
year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been to any events or sports or anything like that. So did you guys go a lot or?
I went to football.
Just
That's
football?
pretty much it.
I went to a couple games, like homecoming had a game, of course.
Mhm.
And I think I went to like one or two besides that, but it was just like Plano just had spirit like on campus.
Sure.
Mhm.
No,
and
I mean
then UTD had none.
yeah, that's true. I've been to UTD campuses a few times. Especially when I lived in Richardson for that few months, because it was literally like 3 minutes from campus. Like I could walk to the UTD campus, so they had like free pool and stuff like that at nights, and so my friend and I would go, and it was pretty chill. I mean, the campus was nice; it was cool, but
Beautiful campus.
I'm actually currently right now friends with the student body president, so it's like and it was kind of funny. Well, I don't know if it's funny or not, but we were talking about on a previous podcast. Because we went over, I don't know if I told you about this. I'm totally rambling here, but we went over. Ben Shapiro had this 20-minute long video, essentially debunking white privilege.
Yeah,
So-
you told me
okay,
that
yeah.
you did it.
Yeah, so we did that, and so he was supposed to be on it, but he's like, I can't because then
Ben was supposed to be on it?
no,
No, I'm just kidding.
hey, that'd be really awesome. No, but my friend, he was supposed to be on it, but then he was like, well, my image and people, and I can't say things because then people are going to take it the wrong way, and then people are going to take it out of context, and then blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I get it, but I mean, if this is supposed to be an open conversation, I don't really see how your quote-unquote ignorance can show and blah, blah, blah. But it's whatever. It's okay. So,
So you couldn't do it because he was student body president?
yeah, he was just like, because literally, you talk for an hour or whatever, then someone could clip this, 30-second bit of you saying, I think black people suck, whatever. And then if it's out of context, then that could be plastered online and whatever, and it could ruin his chances of either being reelected or he could have been, I don't know if you can impeach a student body president, but definitely. And then like the other groups that he talks to and other social groups and clubs and stuff like that he tries to talk with, they're going to have an influence their relationships and stuff like that there. So apparently it's a heavy political game at UTD.
There's a heavy political game almost everywhere
That's kind of true.
on campus.
Is it
but-
just people like to politicize things? Is that it?
Yep.
Just people take a
Lately,
side and
people are very like you
Wait,
can't
but
have
I mean,
a
like
conversation
you
with
say,
somebody without,
lately, but like I feel like that's just been a thing. Everyone has just
No,
been super
it's.
political.
I feel like it's not been. When I was growing up, it was definitely not like that. I mean, things were political, but not to the extreme that they are now. Now, if you're like one side of the spectrum,
Mhm.
people don't get along at all with somebody on the other side of the spectrum. Whereas, like back in the '80s, I know everybody voted for not
so
to go
then is that
into
just-
politics, but like everybody voted for Reagan except for one state. Even California voted for Ronald
Really?
Reagan. So yeah, 49 out of the 50 states. The only one that didn't was Minnesota because the Democratic candidate came out of Minnesota. So
Oh, okay.
besides, like people are a little bit more, I think, on board with things. I guess it was less super controversial
Okay.
back then, and then now it's like.
Well, do you
A
think it's
lot
just
more.
because those weren't pressing issues, and now it's in your face pressing issues?
Now I think that media plays a big part in it. Like the media draws attention to whatever they want to draw attention to, and they they
because
try to get clicks and they try to get people to comment on certain things and
Sure.
get really invested. So they like make clickbait articles to try to
Can we talk about clickbait articles and like
Sure.
literally how much I hate them? There's just it's the most ridiculous thing in the entire world, and it's just
you'll never believe what this person said today, and then you have to like click to find out.
Yeah,
I
and then-
never click those articles ever.
it's just in because one thing, and I mean, I'm not saying like BuzzFeed does it a lot, but like when I'm scrolling through Facebook, I'll see a bunch of just stupid BuzzFeed like, hey, look at this, blah 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 blah, 10 things that you would have never thought were true in your entire, and like I'm like, what, like why? Like I get it, you're trying to do the shock value, you're trying to like say, hey, whatever, more traffic to your website, so then you might click on another thing.
Money.
I guess. I don't know. I just want to think there are shitty people there, and we need to get better people there. I don't know.
It's the whole thing is
that's
money.
That's how
like,
BuzzFeed's gonna make their. Every time you click on that, you see also
all the
47 ads that they've put
right
on their
each
page.
page,
True.
and like you have to like you're not gonna find all 10 things on one page. You're gonna have to click
Go
to the next page
page.
with
Yeah.
another 47 ads on the next page. and
That's
then
true.
continue
I didn't
doing
even
that, like,
consider about like, because I hate those websites where I'm like scrolling and then like I'm trying to look something up or something like that, and then there's like a social conversation or whatever, and then I think about clicking about it to get a different point of view or whatever, and then it's like, I forget, it's always the same format where it's like you have a crap ton of dumb pictures and ads in the very top, and you have a crap ton of pictures and ads on the bottom. You scroll down, and then like you have to scroll past those to get to the next. But I don't even think about like, because I don't know, I phase through the ads. I guess it's just so commonplace now that I'm just like, okay, whatever, I don't care what top 5 celebrities are naked in this whatever exposing scandal. Like it's ridiculous though.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But that's how they get paid.
Yep. Money.
I hate that. I hate that so much. So
Journalism has to change in some way. Like there's
like
got to
how?
be. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a good solution. I mean, people just aren't reading newspapers and stuff anymore, so they have to like do everything online, and the only way to do things online and to get as many people to click on them as possible is to host sites that have those clickbait articles with a bunch of ads on them, so that like the more people come to your site, the more traffic, will draw more ad attention.
I think it's also like there's just a downgrade or not downgrade, but like a decrease in just like consumerism. I just don't think people are wanting to spend money
for journalism.
Like,
yeah,
because I know the only really when I talk to someone and they say, and I'm like, okay, well, what did you spend money on in the past month or something like that? I think when I talk to them 9 times out of 10, I think probably a good 60 to 70% of what they buy is purchasing something to support a particular thing. So like, I'm buying this album. I bought an album this month because I want to support the artist, or I bought a poster because I want to support whatever indie movie or whatever they say. But it's not just like, I don't think I've heard anyone say, "Oh, I bought a newspaper," or "Oh, I bought just a generic thing that gives them information."
I bought a subscription to the Daily Wire a while back, which is Ben Shapiro's. He's editor in chief of the Daily Wire. So like an annual subscription, it was like $80 or something like that for a year. And basically, it's not because I listen to him for free on YouTube and stuff, but like I don't take advantage of the perks that come with the $80. But mostly it was just to like. Yeah, I mean, you get to I think only the first 30 minutes of his shows are free on Facebook, and I listen to the first 30 minutes of his shows usually, and I don't go and click on the app for the Daily Wire to listen to the rest. But it was mostly just to support him and his support him and his
conquest to
no
I say conquest to
whatever
bring point across.
Just trying to get his name and people to.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like if someone's purchasing something and it's not for a just cause in their mind, it's not going to be like, oh, I don't want to support some faceless corporation or whatever like that. So, because I know specifically for streaming music and stuff like that, I've got Apple Music. I'm sure I'll pay $5 to a faceless corporation, but then whenever I say, oh, the new whatever Muse album is going to come out, well, heck yeah, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to purchase tickets to go see them in concert, and then I'll get their album, whatever. I'll buy a sweater, whatever it is, and I'll support them that way. So, because I don't, and I see it as a joke, but I it's very funny how real it is. It's like whenever you're purchasing stuff online, and then you'll spend $25 with free shipping, but you won't spend $5 with $10 shipping or something like that. I've always seen that, and that kind of made me giggle. So I don't know. Long story short, I just think people don't want to spend. I don't think people want to spend money, not necessarily needlessly, but I guess they want to have more of a cause. Because then it's always I see one thing, which is really it's a good thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of Humble Bundle at all, so it's fine. So they're generally primarily they sell games, video games and stuff like that, computer games. And what they'll do is they'll partner with a foundation, and then they'll say, okay, we'll give you if you pay at least $1, we'll give you these 3 to 4 games, and then you can choose how the money goes allocated. So you can give it all to the developers of the games, all to the actual organization, or they have like an even split. And then it's like, okay, if you pay $10 or more, you get even more games. And then they also do it with like audiobooks. They do they've done like comics and stuff like that, graphic novels.
Any like big name audiobooks, like the Harry Potters or something? Or probably not.
Well, recently, I don't remember in recent years, but I know they've done like some pretty like they've done like not how-to books, but like I know the one I just bought, I spent $1 and I got some programming language books. So it's like
I'm learning some programming too.
Yeah,
we'll talk about this off air, but yeah.
Well, I mean, we talk
there's
about
like
it on air.
Team
so go ahead.
Treehouse. There's like it's a website. And it gives you like a few free days, and it's $25 a month. But it's like all the free video. I mean, not free, but all the videos you can handle. I mean, it literally teaches you step by step with like games that you can start, program, and it tells you what to do and what to change in the game.
So what are you learning?
So right now it's just JavaScript, but I'm like very, very, very early on. So
sure,
like,
I mean,
like
you're starting
2
with
hours
nothing. You
in.
got to start
Yeah.
somewhere. So yeah, no, I get that. So I know if you're interested, they have on Udemy. If you ever heard of it, they've got it's a mobile app as well as a desktop application. And they have courses and stuff like well, actually not just like videos, but like structured courses. So someone's going to say, all right, I've got 50 videos that you need to watch. After 10, let's take a quiz. After 30, let's finish it. Okay, same thing. Okay,
yeah,
so
you take a quiz. And
so Udemy's there. But anyway, so it's like it's a structured way where I'm okay with buying games from a faceless developer because I can just give all the money to charity. And that's fine. So I don't know. I guess I'm a cog in the wheel there, but I totally derailed. I don't know where I'm going with the end point there. So I guess moral of the story: don't buy something unless it's supporting something.
Don't do drugs, kids. That's
right?
moral
Well, that's true. Yeah, don't do drugs. That's for sure. Well, I mean, what if you want to support your local drug dealer? Then I mean, you gotta put him through college. Hey, man, he's trying to make ends meet. So I don't think. Okay, honestly, I don't think drug dealers deal drugs just to make money if they already have an income of money. Because I think drug dealers will deal money.
No, it's obviously like
it's
a greater sense of. I mean, you get more money doing that. Than,
right.
Like, and you can make an
excuse.
excuse. That's the same. You can make that same excuse with prostitution. You can make that same. Like that's
True.
an excuse with anything. So like, it's what are you willing to do for money? And like, there's a line where drug dealing is off the table for somebody like me. Like, no matter. I mean, I don't want to say no matter how. I think it's off the table for like.
Okay, so you'd never pull like a Heisenberg.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but what if you're like Breaking Bad? Like you're about to die in. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but like you're gonna die because you have lung cancer and you have a family and you have a son who has cerebral palsy.
Yeah,
and you have a wife that is about to get pregnant to a second child, and you are told by the doctor that you have a few weeks to live.
What
you are a high school teacher. Your wife doesn't work.
Yeah, your kids'
until she
medical
starts
bills.
You get a really good life insurance policy.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like
multi-million.
I feel like if I knew I was gonna die, like it was like a guaranteed you are going to die in
then you would
3 weeks.
Yeah,
I would.
I probably would too.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Literally only to better like my family's life as much as I can.
That's what he does. He like
literally
sticks the money in. Again, not to ruin it. He like sticks the money in like a vent.
Not to ruin it, but let me tell you exactly what happens.
But it's also an old show that a lot of people have seen, which I'm watching for the first time now.
I've never seen
It's
it.
been like what? Because the season finale.
A decade, I'm pretty sure, since like,
No, Breaking Bad.
The season finale ended
the
like
first season of Breaking Bad. I'm pretty sure.
Not been a
the
decade.
first season probably aired, I think, in like 2008. I think.
Really?
See,
Jeez.
I think so. Because
I
know
think
it
I was
ended.
in college.
I know it ended
We can check.
in high
I think I was
school.
in college.
I'm saying, okay, Ty, if you want to check real quick, I'm pretty sure it ended. My guess is 2014. I think that's my guess is when it ended.
Anyway, so hopefully I didn't ruin it for anybody.
2014.
I would.
2013. 2013, I think.
2008 to 2013. Yep.
I would do it if I knew I was gonna die.
Okay. I still don't know. I think because my whole thing, and it's always been with movies and superhero movies and whatever. It's like I feel like they'd discover who I am and discover my connections, and then it's like if I'm doing in the drug world and I hoe over some really big drug lord, he's gonna kill my family, and that's like I don't want that. I that's what I'm terrified of. Is like
don't hoe over any massive drug lord.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna be making crystal meth or whatever, then like I mean,
be like Heisenberg and kill him.
Well, because I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could.
Sorry.
I mean, I think
Again.
that's no. I don't think that's ruining at all. I mean, the whole point of the show is he turns into a badass and starts killing people and whatever. I don't think I could.
Wait,
do that.
really? I didn't know that.
Well, I mean,
I've never seen it.
It's
Oh.
not the point of the show, but it's like a cause and effect of the show.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're gonna
People die.
yeah, if you're
Okay.
gonna go
All
into
right,
the
all
meth
right.
world,
Innocent
then,
lives are.
I'll
not
tell you right
innocent
now,
lives.
this is like the first episode or first or second episode. Like they chop up a body and they
That reminds
dissolve
me of
his
Dexter.
Yeah, it's well, okay. I mean, the first episode kind of reminds it of, but they chop up a body and they dissolve the body in a bathtub, and then like
Of like acid?
yeah, like acid and
Yeah.
some product of acid plus something else plus cleaner whatever solution, and then it
Ammonia
dissolves the
or
body.
something?
Probably something like that. So
Huh.
yeah, it's definitely right off the bat people are dying and stuff like that. So
Actually, can you mix acid with ammonia? Because one's a strong acid and one's a strong base. So wouldn't they like neutralize?
that's a
know.
good question.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't
who cares?
know. I mean, did you pay attention to chemistry a lot?
I paid attention to that at least.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
I'm a chemical engineer, so I should know something.
you should.
You're
right?
like, I should probably know
I think
this.
is this something I should know? So, all right, real quick. Aziz Ansari, Shelly, go off. Do it.
I'm not gonna go off,
Do it.
but it's Liam Neeson got in trouble
What?
for saying that this hashtag Me Too thing is like a witch hunt.
What?
It totally is a witch hunt.
And then this happened, and I'm like, yeah, he's kind of right.
What?
What?
I didn't know Liam Neeson spoke out on anything.
Liam Neeson spoke out, basically saying that the Me Too
Mhm.
campaign
Ben
is a
Shapiro
witch hunt.
agrees, by the way.
At first I was like, okay, whatever. But then this Aziz Ansari thing came out, and I was like, Liam Neeson's kind of right.
Okay.
Like,
Real quick. I'm gonna pause you right here, and
Okay.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just purely asking in a question.
Okay.
Do you think 100% of the women who came out against Bill Cosby were right to do so, in terms of it truthfully happening?
100% of the
100%.
women?
in terms of it truthfully happening,
Yes.
yes.
You think so?
It
All the women who came out and said I was
No.
no.
Oh, okay,
If
sorry.
they were telling the truth, you're
Uh-huh.
asking a different question.
Okay,
If they
sorry.
were telling the truth,
Yes,
then yes, I believe that 100% of them
Oh,
should
okay.
have come out
sure.
and said whatever.
No, I'm saying out. Okay, so let's say
So do you
for
thi-
whatever-
basically,
But
do you
you're
think
saying
that
if you're
all of
saying
the
it-
women? Yeah. So let's say 80 women came out. I don't know the number. 80 women came out. Do you think all of them were actually attacked by Bill Cosby?
I don't know.
I don't.
I don't wanna-
I mean, I don't. It's hard to say.
Come
Like
on.
you know.
Well, but
you know,
I mean,
you
it's similar. Like this whole the witch hunt thing. Because again, Aziz Ansari.
You know what? It is, but it's not. Because, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
but
good. Go ahead.
the way that I based my opinion on this, and
Mhm.
it's the same thing with Louis C.K.,
Mhm.
which I don't think he's that funny, and I don't, whatever. He's fine.
I don't love him that much either, but
Aww.
Even the people that came out against him. So the people that came out against Bill Cosby,
Mhm.
they had these, their stories were very, detailed or whatever. And
Mhm.
from their stories, it sounded bad. And I completely agree with them.
Okay.
When Louis C.K. and Aziz Ansari, when these females came out, even from the females' perspective. So I actually read whatever this 23-year-old or 22-year-old Grace had written. I read her article
This
on
was
babe.net.
Yeah,
This is
Aziz.
Aziz
Okay.
Ansari.
All right.
I read her article.
Mhm.
And even from the way she described the situation, I
Mhm.
was like, I don't agree with you.
Okay.
And same thing with Louis C.K. From the way that even the women described
Yeah.
what had happened, I was also like, I don't agree with you either.
Yeah, because the women, they were like, we were laughing the whole time or something like that.
Right.
And then after
and the women was one of the women even was like, I did it at the time, but now looking back on it, I realized it was a bad idea. And it's like, well, that's called regret. It's not called
Yeah.
sexual assault. So like, that's
True.
my problem. So with the Bill Cosby thing, all of the women's stories sounded terrible.
Mhm.
So like, do I think they happened? That's not really my place to say.
Mhm.
And
well,
I don't
I'm
want
sure
to say.
I'm sure that like
Oh,
they
it
did
happened.
happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure
but
it
like
happened.
if 100% of the women, like to answer your previous question, like
Sure.
I don't know. I think some people are probably jumping on the bandwagon,
And
trying to get
that's
some,
what I'm
like-
saying is because I feel like now, and again, not saying it's a bad thing that everyone's coming out about all this, but I think now that it's very okay to say, here's my story, it happened years ago, blah, blah, blah. Or I think with AZIZ, it was like last September or something like that. So it happened months ago.
Right.
You know, I think it's like, okay, now we can try and spin this. And again, not saying that people are doing this, but
it's similar to like Michael
what
Jackson.
were we
People
saying?
came out with Michael Jackson saying, you know, is he a pedophile? Is he not a pedophile? Like, whether or not...
Oh, there was more people than just like the kids that had the sleepover or whatever?
No, well, I mean, it's like their parents. And,
Sure.
Like,
okay.
they're trying to... And I honestly believe that they're trying to make, a quick buck on him because, like, if you're the parents, why would you let your young child sleep over at Michael Jackson's house?
True.
Like, if you were worried about anything like that, like, which you probably should be, I mean, just because you're sleeping over at an adult home, like, why would you let your kid do that?
Right,
and
I
then
agree.
call, for sexual
whatever,
assault or
yeah.
whatever. Like, basically, I think people were using that as a, So to say that it doesn't happen, that people are not greedy and selfish and, just are trying to make money, that's a false. That's false for sure. So, like, yes, people are out there just to make money. They'll make up any story they have to do so. I mean, is it actually happening? Of course, it's actually happening, though, too. Like, Hollywood is getting busted open now.
Sure.
A lot of stuff.
Right,
is
and
coming
like
out.
I said, I do agree that a lot of that is truth, and a lot of that is, because, sorry, I do agree with, I think that there's that hush hush, and you have to, like, if you want to make it, you have to just kind of put your head down and do whatever, and I get that, and that makes sense, but I do think now, we might have some cases where because my initial reaction was I sided with the woman. I was like, okay, damn, I thought AZIZ was really funny. I really enjoyed his TV shows. I off screen, I thought he was a good guy, but I guess I was wrong. But then, after his statement and everything like that, now that I'm thinking, well, should you believe every single person who claims to be a victim? Well, that's
it's not
the
even that.
question.
Like, that's my problem. Is if I was to read her story,
Mhm.
and if I was to think that he drugged her and he raped, and she kept saying, "No, I don't want to do that. Get off of me," and he was like, "No, I want to." Whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then yeah, you know what? He's probably a terrible person. She full on admitted that she went to his house before the date and after the date.
Mhm.
She said that she used nonverbal cues and that he should have picked up on her nonverbal cues
Mhm.
But
instead of saying
she still got naked.
instead of saying, "No, I don't want to do this. I want to leave. I'm uncomfortable."
Well,
She was
well-
like,
Right.
and
But, I
then
mean, don't-
expected him to pick up on that.
Well, but hold on.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm just, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you or
Sure.
agreeing with you. I'm just saying. I guess I'm playing devil's advocate at this point. Don't you think that there is kind of like a not starstruck, but like star intimidated?
That's not his fault. Why is that his fault?
You're allowed to say no.
You're
to a
allowed to
star.
say no.
Like, it doesn't matter who it is.
Well,
If you,
no, I understand.
If you
But don't you get
understand? Sure, I fully. But if you understand what you're comfortable with as a person,
Mhm.
it could be fucking Tom Hardy
Mhm.
there, who is, by the way, you know how everybody has a list of like 5 celebrities they're allowed to sleep with, even though they have a relationship.
Sure.
Okay, Tom Hardy's 3 of my 5. Okay, even if he's there, and
Yeah.
for some reason I am uncomfortable, I respect myself enough
Sure.
to say, no, I don't want you to do that.
Okay.
I'm uncomfortable.
Well-
Whether there's a celebrity there or not, it shouldn't matter. And he shouldn't have to pay the price for his
But do you think? But
stardom.
well, no, and I get that, and I get the train of thought, and I agree with the train of thought. But I think there's a huge difference between you saying it and you speaking it, and then it actually
Nope,
happening.
you don't
Then
get to
it's
cry wolf. You don't get to cry wolf afterwards. If
Yeah,
you let
then
it
it's
happen,
called regret. It's not
yeah.
called assault.
you might not.
Okay.
You might not agree. You might not be happy that you did it, but that's not assault.
that's not assault. It's regret. You regret that you did it.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that he did anything wrong. And it doesn't mean, and like, Aziz, sorry, you're my man and I love you. It's not like he's like a massive guy to where
That's
she
true.
like
Yeah.
was pushing him off and he wasn't, he
Right.
wasn't like John Cena where like,
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
The dude's
she
like
really,
5'6",
yeah.
like 112 pounds.
If she really
Like,
didn't want him and she felt that uncomfortable, she
Mhm.
could have easily pushed him off
Mhm.
and he would have understood.
and we're like dissecting this like it's some kind of like she didn't say no. Simple as that.
But
like,
but
simple as
the statement of like silence isn't necessarily consent. Do you? Isn't shouldn't you take that in consideration?
no.
what do you
because-
mean? Like,
because unless she's drugged or there's something that's maybe if she was like incredibly sorry I keep interrupting you too, but like if she was just like incredibly inebriated to where she couldn't talk or she couldn't understand what's going on, there's no reason for you to not say no. Like
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody comes and hits on you like
Right.
like that and you don't want to do anything, like you'll say, "Hey, listen, like I'm not interested." Like, sorry.
No, I get that, but I feel like a lot of celebrities carry this kind of presence and this sort of this aura of power. Forget size, physical strength, or whatever. It's just this feeling of intimidation. So I feel like that,
so they need to be on extra good behavior to like.
Well, I mean,
so they need to ask.
But reading the story. So reading the story, you know,
Hold on. Does there need to be like a checklist that they have to talk about before they engage in any kind of sexual activity?
No,
Do they need to be like,
no.
Are you comfortable with me taking off your dress? Are
No,
you comfortable
I
with
understand.
me?
I get that, and I get that. It doesn't have to be that cut and dry. But I mean, I think, and correct me, Shelley, if I'm wrong, but whenever she was taken, was it to their place or his? Because it was his place.
She went back to his place
twice.
She knows what that means.
Okay, well then I guess I'm misremembering because I thought it was she was at her place.
Nope,
was it his place?
for
Okay,
sure.
all right then.
You're like
No. I mean, I'm
somewhat.
just trying because the point I was going to make was I guess null and void now. But okay. I'll try and make it. But from what I read was he found an excuse to bring her into the house. Like she made a comment or something, and then like I think she he
go back and reread her article.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And I could totally be
that's
like
okay. I'm just
totally
saying
be
it's the
She
one
can
that,
also say, "I don't want to go to your house tonight." Like maybe a different night, or
That's true.
just not at all. Like she needs to say something if she doesn't want to. Otherwise, like if he starts making a move and she doesn't do anything, that's usually like.
that's right. But again, is silence confirmation? Is silence?
I think in a situation where the person is not what's the word I'm looking for? They're not
Dominant?
taking a step back.
Mhm.
Like they're not inebriated or they're not drugged
Sure.
or they're not what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know what word you're looking for.
I don't
I'm
know.
just-
Sound mind?
Disabled, not the word. But like
Okay.
they're not
I don't know.
whatever.
I don't know
They're
what
not
word-
set back in any way due to any kind of anything else.
Sure.
Then no. So, I mean, then
Then yes,
silence
can be
silence can be consent.
okay. And that's fine. I'm curious just because this is kind of one of, and who knows if we start hearing more similar stories like this, because if someone comes out like this, then it's like, oh, then I had a bad date with
Yeah,
blah, blah,
that's
blah,
the
and
thing.
this
Like, oh, I
happened.
had a bad date with this person, and like again, regret is not. That's the moral of the
Yeah.
whole story. Like, regret is not assault.
Okay. And that's totally fine. And I mean, I think that's an interesting way to close
Ben
it.
Shapiro would say, "Don't have one night stands if you don't want this to."
That's
you
true.
know,
I
all
just
about that.
think I just think if there is a huge celebrity and they are persistent and they keep saying hey, I think that can be worn down, and I think that's still not okay. I don't think that's.
But you,
I wouldn't
you don't know.
classify it
First of all,
as-
you don't know that he did that. And second of all, if she says no one time,
She didn't
That's
say
enough.
no.
She
She
didn't say-
admitted
okay.
that she didn't say no.
she didn't say
Oh,
it.
okay.
She admitted. She was like, I gave nonverbal cues that I didn't want to do it,
But she did it.
but she did it, and she
Okay.
didn't say no.
So even
it's
the
like,
nonverbal cues is
What? We're not like
What does that mean?
people aren't psychic. Like you don't
Okay.
need to be psychic. You don't need to be a mentalist in
Sure.
order to like figure out if you need to. Like
Okay.
this is very cut and dry. Like you do not need.
no,
to be-
and that's fine, and I'm totally okay with labeling it cut and dry. I'm just trying to poke your brain and see.
I recommend you read her article on babe.net
Okay.
because that was the first article that I read was her story of it because I was like, what AZIZ, I'm sorry.
And I'm not like
And-
I like Aziz and I like some of his humor. Do I think he's like a great guy? Like I don't know, probably not. But
Right.
like I don't really care about
Sure.
Aziz that much. Whatever. I
And
mean, he's not like my favorite comedian. He's not.
Sure.
I don't
No,
care
I-
really what happens to him. But I think he's in the right
Yeah.
on this one.
Okay.
So.
And he like texted her the next day, and like she has a screenshot of the text message where he's like, "Hey, I had a really great time," blah blah. They
think
were
I
talking
saw
about some
that.
kind of camera or whatever, and
Yeah.
she responded back, and she was like, "That was just you. I didn't have a great time. I felt very uncomfortable." Blah blah blah, and she explained herself, which I think is totally fine for her to explain herself.
Sure.
And his reaction was very champ-like, and he was like, "I'm sorry. I thought it was consensual. I didn't realize you felt that way. I'm truly sorry." Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. What else did she expect?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Okay.
He did everything fine.
He did everything
then
fine.
that's fine. Okay, and that's totally fine. And to end out the podcast, who do you think's next in the hot seat? Well,
James Franco's in some pretty hot water.
But wasn't he already in hot water?
Yeah, but then he got in more hot water when he wore either the Me Too or the Time's Up or whatever.
Wait, so why is he in hot water now?
Because it's now like 5 girls that are
coming out about
him.
Like just being
A lot of people thought
sexually.
he was gay.
I mean, he's kind of like a artsy fartsy guy, so I wouldn't put it past him.
But he's like highly intelligent.
Yeah.
Like I did not know.
So he'll have some pretty bad ones coming up.
You don't think? But I don't think because with some I don't know because for me and I guess this is just my own personal opinion. James Franco is just a very sexual icon. I think he's very tongue in cheek and he's very kind of. What's the word? Like not romantic, but like
Charming.
Charming. And so I feel like that's just kind of he's a sleazy guy, but I love him as an actor and stuff like that. Fun fact though, have you guys seen totally not related? End of the World, and This Is the End or something like that.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Yeah.
All of the paintings in the house were done by James Franco.
Really?
All of them. They were his paintings. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he's a very interesting person.
The one where like the demon came out at the end and like, the devil came out at the end.
It was like
It just whatever
all I
paintings were in the
remember is
house.
like a huge
No, I'm
ass,
saying, like, at the end.
mansion.
Yeah, there was a big mansion. Everybody started dying. And,
Yeah.
Like
That sounds
if it was a painting, he had it. He
Yeah,
did
but
it.
I'm saying like at the end of the movie,
Right.
Like an actual demon like was coming to kill.
I
He
don't
like came out of the earth. And
Right,
He was
right.
like humongous.
Right.
And like
He's just trying to make sure it was the same movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that movie. Yeah, about all the actors went up to heaven, and then all the bad actors, but the with
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill and what was the guy from $1 Million Baby or whatever? That was the joke. I forget his name. Whatever. That was the joke about like that was the only movie that people remembered him from or something.
I don't even remember him from that.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It's been a while since
I'll
I've seen
have to
it. I
look
think
it
I
up.
saw it like in theaters.
Well, anyways, all right. So Shelley, you're saying James Franco?
I mean, he's already had some come up. I think
All right, well, then what's-
they're going to get bigger.
all right. So other than James Franco, who do you think? New, unspoken, totally gonna come out, take everyone by storm.
I don't know.
I think it's gonna be another comedian. Unfortunately, I think comedian because just comedy comes from a dark place, and so I think these people are messed up, and so they're gonna have done messed up things to women, and so I
Depends
don't know.
on what you consider messed up to women and
Well,
what stories.
and I mean this
True
thing with
enough,
AZIZ is
but-
definitely a standard of what is messed up in comparison to what women think is messed up. But I think I don't know. I think it's gonna be a comedian. That's what I think. It's gonna be a comedian is the next. So I would hate to.
Kathy Griffin. It's coming up.
Oh my gosh! don't even get me started.
I can't stand her. If you're listening, Kathy, I can't stand you.
Oh my gosh! All right. Okay. Just real quick. Did you guys see? This just totally just came to the back of my head. The David Letterman thing on Netflix. The new David Letterman thing.
I saw the trailer for it. but I
Okay,
didn't
well,
watch it.
we can talk about it after. So, but yeah, we're gonna close up the podcast. Appreciate everyone who stuck it this far and listened to our BSing and gossiping and old nostalgia-ing, all that good stuff. So, and again, I appreciate you guys being on the podcast.
Thank you.
All
Anytime.
that good stuff. So, have a great day, night, or whenever you are listening to it. Peace out.
Bye.
And that is the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just letting you know again that this was sponsored by Haven Cottage Event Center, okay? This thing's coming out end of spring in 2018. That's this year, okay? Small, medium, whatever kind of event that you want, bring it here. They can style it, they can change it, they can get it right just for you, all right? Celebrate whatever you want, have any kind of business meeting, whatever it is, just literally your heart's desire. Remember, Haven Cottage Event Center. Everything you need to know is in the description down below how to get in contact with them, okay? All right, cool. Peace out.